Imagine ending a war with just a stare. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, Vice President JD Vance thinks he just pulled it off. And that's not even the craziest thing he said this week. From calling the UK some random country, to launching a one-man crusade to make sofas affordable again, this story only gets weirder. Stay tuned, because trust me, you won't believe what happens next. JD Vance ends Ukraine war by staring at Zelenskyy, declares UK some random country, also very passionate about sofas. Washington, D.C. Vice President JD Vance made international headlines this week when he boldly declared the war in Ukraine basically over after an intense 45-second stare down with President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. The moment, described by eyewitnesses as like watching a confused golden retriever try to assert dominance over a lion, occurred during a tense meeting at the White House. "You should be thanking President Trump," Vance announced with the confidence of a man who recently learned where Ukraine is on a map. He's trying to end this war by making sure you can't afford to keep fighting it. Zelenskyy, blinking twice in disbelief, responded with the international diplomatic sign for, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" Meanwhile, Trump, seated next to Vance, was busy drawing what appeared to be a wall around California on the back of a McDonald's napkin. JD Vance. From hillbilly elegy to hillbilly diplomacy, Vance's political journey has been one for the history books. First, he wrote a book about growing up poor. Then he moved to Silicon Valley and got rich. Then he ran for Senate pretending he had never heard of Silicon Valley. Now, as Trump's vice president, he's out here redefining foreign policy, one confused statement at a time. His latest headline-making comment? While discussing NATO, Vance casually referred to the United Kingdom as some random country. Reporters asked if he was joking. He doubled down. "I mean, compared to Ohio, yeah, it's pretty random," Vance explained. Like, what have they even done lately? Do they have a football team? A good grocery chain? An affordable sectional sofa store? JD Vance and his deep love of sofas. Now, it's important to mention something about JD Vance. The man really loves sofas. During a recent campaign stop, when asked about inflation, he pivoted directly to the real crisis facing Americans: furniture costs. Sofas used to be affordable, Vance ranted. You could walk into a store, pick out a nice sectional, maybe a reclining love seat, and it wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. But now, thanks to globalist policies, the price of a quality sofa is through the roof. Later at a rally, he held up a campaign sign that simply read, "Make sofas cheap again." The crowd went wild. Trump, reportedly confused by this new obsession, asked an aide if Vance had suffered a head injury. "I don't know, sir," the aide responded, but he's really mad about sofas. Foreign policy by JD Vance. A new era of confusion. As vice president, Vance is wasting no time putting his unique stamp on global affairs. Since taking office, he has suggested NATO be rebranded as America First plus some other countries, referred to European Union as just a big HOA with fancier accents, proposed replacing the United Nations with a Facebook group where world leaders can just vibe, announced a trade deal with Canada, but only if they promise to stop making their couches so expensive. When asked how he plans to handle the growing tensions between China and Taiwan, Vance paused thoughtfully before responding. "You ever notice how modern sofas don't last as long as they used to? We need to bring back quality American craftsmanship." The reporter, who had asked about Taiwan, simply nodded and walked away. Trump and Vance, the MAGA bromance we never saw coming. Unlike Trump's last VP, Mike Pence, who mostly stood around looking like he was waiting for permission to speak, Vance has taken a more enthusiastic role in the administration. He's eager, he's outspoken, he's deeply obsessed with affordable seating arrangements. Sources say Trump is both impressed and slightly concerned. He's a great guy, don't get me wrong. Trump said in a recent interview, loyal, smart, tough on globalists. But the sofa thing, I don't get it. We got to get him to talk more about, I don't know, trade or something. Maybe throw in a little bit about God. People love that. But couches? Not sure. When asked if he had any final words for Americans, JD Vance nodded seriously. The world is changing fast, he said. Wars are being fought. Nations are rising and falling. But if there's one thing I want people to remember, it's this. No one should ever take out a second mortgage just to buy a decent couch. Trump, overhearing, sighed deeply. I should have picked Tucker. Vice President JD Vance calls for a whole government immigration crackdown and his couch battalion by Melissa Ramirez and Tommy Gordon. Updated 6:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, March 5th, 2025. Eagle Pass, Texas AP. Vice President JD Vance, known for his high-energy speaking style, his questionable takes on immigration, and his extremely niche supplement brand, visited the U.S.-Mexico border on Wednesday to announce a new, more robust approach to border security. Vance, in a move no one saw coming, promised that President Donald Trump's latest border strategy would be so effective it could even prevent you from buying a bad couch or a sofa that might be used as a tool for illegal activity. Joined by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who, in a shocking turn, was not hosting a reality show about extreme patriotism, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who could barely contain her glee as she mapped out the border with crayons, Vance took a helicopter tour around Eagle Pass, Texas, where he made a bold statement to the press. Thanks to President Trump's brilliant leadership, Vance declared, "We've seen illegal crossings plummet 39%, and no one really knows why, except maybe the aliens or the overzealous Border Patrol agents who've been given permanent vacation days. It's a mystery, like why so many sofas are being delivered to the border." While Vance's claim about a 39% drop was largely attributed to an increased crackdown on non-compliant couches, turned in by heroic American citizens, the border had indeed seen a marked decrease in activity. This, however, was not necessarily due to Trump's second-term immigration policies. Rather, it was because Mexican authorities, who have been quietly enforcing their own stricter border policies, had successfully replaced all the drugs with avocados. In a related development, Vance announced a $1.5 million initiative to secure the couch sector, citing concerns about furniture being used to harbor nefarious characters. He explained that some illegal immigrants have been sneaking across the border in inflatable couches, a tactic he called highly sophisticated and not very comfortable. But it wasn't just about the couches. Vance revealed that Trump's whole government approach was more far-reaching than anyone could have anticipated. Instead of just focusing on immigration, the administration had apparently roped in the FBI, the CIA, NASA, and even the Postmaster General into the border crackdown effort. The strategy, according to Vance, was designed to create an all-encompassing, no-holds-barred wall of government agencies, many of whom had no idea they were involved. "We're basically rolling out the couch battalion," Vance said with a grin. "The military will be working side by side with Border Patrol agents, all trained to detect and neutralize rogue furniture. You can't just waltz across the border with a faux leather sofa anymore, folks." As Vance continued his tour of the area, he was greeted by local residents who were not entirely sure whether to thank him for the drop in illegal crossings or to express concern about how many couches were now being scrutinized at the local Walmart. One such resident, Dennis Charlton, a veteran who wore two hats, one for his military service and the other a Make America Great Again cap, had a few thoughts. "I'm all for it," Charlton said, eyeing a nearby couch store. "I just hope this government effort doesn't end up in my living room. I saw a couch on a Craigslist ad once that might be from the undocumented section. No telling where that thing's been." Indeed, the rumors of couch-fueled smuggling had spread far beyond Eagle Pass. It was alleged that certain smuggler groups had devised an ingenious plan, disguised as living room furniture and casually blend in with the mainstream sofa market. Thankfully, Vance assured reporters that all national, state, and local authorities were working overtime to monitor this unfolding cushion crisis. Meanwhile, Pete Hegseth, who was visibly perplexed by the sight of a hammock hanging from a tree during the border visit, remarked, "This is a national security issue on par with anything we've seen in military history. People just can't be trusting couches anymore. They become tools of chaos." In a bizarre yet fitting turn of events, Tulsi Gabbard, who had recently been spotted appearing at local supermarkets giving out pamphlets about couch safety, added, "This isn't just a political issue. It's a lifestyle crisis. We got to stop the cartels, yes, but first, we must stop the spread of unregulated, non-DHS-approved furniture. As Trump's plan begins to unfold, it's clear that the situation on the border is still evolving. But more than that, so is the country's entire understanding of sofas. Under Trump's executive orders, it's now illegal to sell sectional that hasn't been run through a military-grade inspection process. This move, according to experts, could help secure the country's most vulnerable, those who just want a comfortable place to watch the news. The border isn't just about people anymore. Vance said, it's about couch safety and security. We're doing more than protecting our nation's borders. We're keeping our living rooms safe from corruption. You can't trust just any recliner. But as critics of the administration have noted, there are serious questions about the effectiveness of this latest strategy, including whether or not Vance's couch battalion can truly prevent what's becoming known as a lazy couch invasion. As some have pointed out, the plan might be effective against immigrant inflatable furniture, but has yet to address the larger problem of overzealous lounge chairs moving from state to state without permits. Trump's trade war with Mexico, already heavily criticized, also seems to have more layers than initially reported during his visit. Vance appeared almost proud of the 25% tariffs on all furniture imports from Mexico and Canada, claiming it was part of a larger effort to secure the borders of our living rooms. He then advised Mexicans to wake up or risk waking up in a narco state, or worse, a place where your couch is never properly fluffed. When asked about the prospect of sending U.S. troops to Mexico to battle drug cartels using ergonomic chairs as cover, Vance did not rule it out. I'm not going to make any announcements today, he said. But let's just say the president is keeping his options open. Who wouldn't want to invade a country where the furniture might be supporting drug lord operations? As the day wound down, Vance appeared exhausted from his efforts to explain the intricacies of government furniture surveillance. The border is under control, he declared, standing tall on the edge of the Rio Grande, a group of retired National Guard troops wearing matching khaki-colored sofas behind him. But the fight is just beginning. As the helicopter prepared to fly off into the sunset, Vance took one last look at the sprawling border. He chuckled. "We've got the sofas," he said with a grin. "Now, we just need the people to stay in them and maybe buy a few extra cushions while they're at it." Well, that's all the misinformation we've got for today. Folks, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the wrong end of the pool, hit that like button so hard, even your ex would feel it. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, because nothing says I have my life together like notifications about things you don't need to know. Stay factually incorrect, and I'll see you next time. Unless I've accidentally got some facts right, then I'm out.